What's up, comrades? Nightwolf here, and welcome back to Mechs of the Roundtable podcast. It's episode 2. Of course, we are joined by Megazord and Magnus Supreme.
Yo.
So, how's everybody doing?
Excellent.
Okay.
Most excellent. I got new headset here, so we got that quality that's gone up.
Yes.
And I've got a Monster Ultra Red, so I am alert and ready to talk.
Yay! Good. Basically, he could be the Red Comet for the day. He can be Char. Because he's drinking a red soda. Or a red beverage. Awesome. Okay, so basically today, instead of what we did last week, which was the first episode of Iron-Blooded Orphans, and we did some news stuff, we're just gonna talk randomly like idiots.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, well, not really, but basically we kind of decided it should be a good idea to kind of just share our general interests in all of nerd culture and whatnot, whether that be video games, comics, anime, TV, whatever it may be. We're gonna kind of share some of our interests with you guys, so then you guys can leave us suggestions for comments and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. Can be about pretty much anything within reason.
Stuff.
Yeah. Just so long as it's not too inappropriate, please.
Yeah, right.
Try and keep it PG to PG-13 if you could.
Yes.
We would much appreciate that. So. Oh. Good. Coughing. Fantastic.
Yeah. So who's starting? Who's gonna get this going?
Well, how about you?
Me?
Yeah, let's have Megazord go first. Let's see what things he's interested in. I'm putting him on the spot.
That is really on the spot. give me a topic. Give me something. So video game, anime, or what? Like, give me a subject.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe it would be weird to just go off the handle. Let's just talk generally about our history with Gundam. You know, what we like about it.
Okay.
And stuff like that. We can start from there, and we'll just move on to other topics.
Can you guys go first? I need to go flip over a load of laundry.
My goodness, every single time we do a podcast, it's about laundry. Laundry!
I know. But I need clothes.
This is true.
Clothes.
This is true.
Not
okay.
if you're watching anime. You don't need clothes to watch anime.
No, this is true.
That's true.
You can watch it in the buff.
You do need it to do a podcast, though.
Yes.
You want to know that you're wearing clothes.
And I do need it to get a job.
Okay, yeah, you take care of that.
I'll be back.
I guess. And yeah, we'll Megazord go for what he knows about Gundam and all that sort of stuff.
All right. Gundam for me, I remember. So my first exposure to it was through Toonami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same for me. So
For a lot of anime, the exposure was through Toonami, and that was what I always wanted to watch after school. Rush home, watch Toonami.
Dang straight, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did too.
And I remember even before I saw Gundam, because they were playing Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And
That was the first one they did.
I remember seeing the previews. I always thought Toonami did a great job of doing those compilation mashups, you know?
Yeah, they
To
did.
get you interested, and it just looked so epic.
Yeah, I loved their Gundam intro.
Yeah.
Their Gundam intro was awesome.
Just seeing these huge robots fighting each other was just awesome. I mean, I don't know of any guy that would say that's not awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just we kind of had a tribute to that whole genre, if you think about it. That, what was that movie that came out recently? Oh, gosh.
Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim, you know?
Yeah.
It was just, it wasn't the smartest movie, but it
No.
was just awesome that there were huge robots fighting
Yeah.
huge monsters.
I love the movie, actually, personally. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more deeper than like what you get mostly with things like Power Rangers and whatnot, which is, you know, a
Exactly.
monster of the week type fight. Of course, it's also in movie format, and it's, well, who was the director? Guillermo del Toro, I think, was the director.
Was it really?
I think so. I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not going to confirm that entirely, but I'm fairly positive. But I'm not going to like search internet browser to check because I'm lazy.
Okay.
And I don't want to.
We need like a fact checker guy back in the corner.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I saw that preview for Gundam, and it was just, it drew me in, and I was like, I have to see what this is. But you know what was so disappointing is like, because I couldn't tune in every day. It was only when I would go over to my grandma's house. So
Right.
when I would get to see an episode, it almost always ended up being where there was a lot of talking and not much Gundam fighting.
Yeah, that's kind of the the crutch that is part of Gundam Wing's history. It has a few problems that, I mean, we could go into detail about. It has a recycled animation problem. It has a lot of political talking opposed to Gundams.
Right.
They focus very heavily on politics. And what's the other thing? Pilots. The pilots, particularly Hiro Yui, are not the best character in the world. He's pretty one-dimensional. He's pretty, boring.
Yeah, it was pretty boring.
Well, it's not that he's boring. He's just like a one-note character, and a lot of them were basically like they're basically like a Power Ranger team or a Sentai team. Each one had their own like one personality, and that's what they stuck with through the whole show.
Yeah,
pretty much. But that's not bad, but it's just not that good either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Welcome back. We were talking about Gundam Wing and Megazord's experience with it.
And I mean, I understand there's also like a budget issue because I mean that's a lot to animate.
Yeah.
With a giant mobile suit and then
we're talking about the
all the details,
Yeah, we were talking about Gundam Wing. The movie Endless Waltz, I think, did a better job.
Yes, I was about to say Endless Waltz. I really did enjoy that.
Because it cut out a lot. It still had some of the political stuff, but it cut out a good portion of it to show. Although, the one thing, for me personally, I like Gundam Wing, but I do have a problem with a few of the things. For me personally, it was like the design for Wing Zero Custom with the angel wings. I never really liked that very much.
It was a bit extreme.
It was on the extreme, and it was so stupid. And to me, it was just idiotic. Now, I understand that it's, the wings are actually like a shield for it. It actually can protect the Gundam, but it never showed that in the show, that the wings were a shield.
Yeah.
Also, this Gundam is considered to be one of the most powerful Gundams in existence, but it has the least amount of screen time of any of the Gundams.
Right.
It has maybe only it has like roughly like 5 minutes of footage that shows it off, and that footage is him fighting the Nataku Wu Face Gundam, and then it shows him destroying a bunker. That's it. That doesn't demonstrate the Gundam's capabilities very well.
Yeah, I know. With all the great, I thought they were great. The mech designs in Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
You didn't really get to see a
I
whole
like
lot of
some
each
of the
one.
Mechs, especially Death Scythe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death Scythe is awesome, and Duo was always fun. I still enjoy Duo, and I love his lines. I love almost any line he did in Endless Waltz was hilarious. Particularly the one where he was talking in the to that one woman, I can never remember her name, and she's like, "Don't worry, I left plenty of presents for you back there." He's like, "If you're joking, that's cruel, but if you're being sarcastic, that's even worse."
I've had the glory of actually having dialogue with Scott McNeil even outside of a panel. He's like the most chill guy. If you want to hang out with if you want to meet with him and meet with him often, he'll just hang out with you.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's cool.
He's the guy who voiced Duo, right?
Huh?
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Duo and Ocean Dub Piccolo.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
voiced He-Man characters. He's voiced Transformers characters.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
He was even in the, what was it? Well, he was in a lot. He was in the Conan the Barbarian cartoon.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, excuse me. Magnus, how about you tell us your first experience with Gundam?
My first experience with Gundam.
Yes. We'll see if our experiences differ.
It probably was. It was indeed the Toonami era of
Yeah.
Wing.
Well, then okay. I guess
A
it's
kid, and
right.
I don't remember if I actually enjoyed it as a kid.
Right.
So it was little. I was probably more into like other things at the time too.
Yeah, there were probably other more simpler things out there that were more entertaining. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know, Dragon Ball Z and whatnot, stuff like that, which might appeal more to a younger audience, and that makes sense. So basically, we all had pretty much the same experience with Gundam. We all started with Wing,
Yeah.
and we've all seen Wing. For the most, yeah, I watched pretty much all of it.
Even with my own, when I returned to Gundam last year in November after a bad breakup, that was what I first got into. And then the politics just like drove it down completely, because I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I really don't care what happens to this lady. She's boring.
The one thing that was,
And then there was Crazy Eyebrow Chick.
yeah,
Evil lady who wanted to kill everybody because whatever.
I mean, for me personally, if you were interested in Wing, but you were afraid of like the oversaturation of politics in it, I definitely would recommend going and watching Gundam 00 because it's more current. Mm-hmm. It follows a lot of the similar principles of Wing, but it's done better and it's better paced.
Better characters.
Yeah, the characters are better. There's a better pace.
And I don't want all the and I actually want the characters to be more straight in that anime in 00 than in
What?
Wing.
What are you
Like,
talking about?
About like, you know, like relationships. I'm like, no girl in Wing has a good character to me.
No, I guess in a sense they didn't. I think that I cannot remember her name. Zex's second in command. I think she was okay. I cannot remember her name.
Oh yeah, she was like the only one that I liked.
Yeah. Because
didn't she?
She was like the only woman who did anything of importance other than brown-haired glasses lady that I don't remember her name.
Lady Un. Lady Un did a lot of stuff, but most of that stuff was horrible and cruel because she had a split personality that they love showing off. Of course, personally for me, my favorite character in the series was Zex or Miliardo. I think out of all the characters in the show, he had the most development over
He's
all of them.
He's one of the best Char clones we've ever had.
Yeah, I would admit to that because I liked the suit he piloted. I liked his whole background story of being, a lost, being from a kingdom that fell and him wanting to reclaim it. All that fun stuff. It was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And also his codename in... What was his codename in Endless Waltz? What was it? White Fang? Or something to that nature. I cannot remember.
Something like that.
Yeah, he had a cool code name for the Endless Waltz movie, which I really liked. Of course, I love Tall Geese 3, so... But, well, I guess we all pretty much got Gundam from the same thing, but for me, I liked Wing. I didn't enjoy G Gundam nearly as much, but when they showed the original Gundam, that was when I got really interested. when they showed off Amuro and the 1 Year War and stuff of that nature, because it showed this whole spanning universe that everything was paced really well, I guess. But when I was a kid, it was like, oh my goodness, look at all these things that are happening. Like the catastrophes of war were so prevalent through the whole thing. In Gundam Wing, the war was there, but it felt like it was all one-sided, you know.
Yeah,
it was all the Gundams winning.
The main characters in Gundam Wing, like of the main like cast, that died.
Nobody.
Nobody. Unlike in the first Gundam series.
Yeah. Lots of characters died. Quite horribly.
Yeah.
Some horribly, some, sacrificing themselves for the greater good. But I like that. I think when Gundam was joining with like Adult Swim and stuff, that's when things got really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we got the 8th MS team, and we also got War in the Pocket, which really showed the horrors of warfare in ways in which that, I guess as a younger person, I never really thought of.
It showed like the horrors of war, but how it would affect a child, like in between sides.
Yeah, in War in the Pocket, that was the main point of it. For something that's only 6 episodes long, it's only 6 episodes, and it has very little Gundam fights in it. It has like maybe roughly like 2.
2.
Yeah, it has 2 Gundam fights, one with the Alex Gundam versus the Camphor, and then the Alex Gundam versus Eizaku 2. It was amazing. I have it on DVD. It makes me cry so much, and I'm freely admitting that because it is sad to watch. I won't spoil it, but go out and watch that. Go and watch that. If you've never watched a Gundam show and you want to know what a Gundam show can be or what it's supposed to be, because I think that's what I measure most of my Gundam shows by, is with
the Pocket and the MS team.
Yeah, they're my measuring sticks for the quality and whatnot. So because I have both of them, and they were the first Gundam DVDs that I actually bought pretty much entirely. So I guess it kind of shows how much I liked those initially. Although, yeah, the horrors of war in 8th MS team, I guess, wasn't the main focus. The main focus was that love story of enemy pilots that are on opposite sides and stuff.
It was more a Romeo and Juliet like story.
Yeah, but it was a good one.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about the MS team.
Yeah. Also, it was a lot of fun because we got to see Gundams that were very grounded and down to earth,
Uh-huh. Even though they were basically just GMs with different heads.
Sort of. Do you have anything to add, Megazord?
I'm just learning.
You just
I'm
learning?
listening and learning.
Okay. I guess listening and learning is fine too.
What's dubbed next? Seat, right?
Oh, da 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 da. I don't. I think so because they skipped Gundam X and they skipped Turn A.
They skipped on to Gundam X. They skipped Turn A.
And they skipped Victory Gundam.
Oh, they did F91.
Yep, I have that one. It's okay. It's really sad that it never got to be an actual, series, but it was still cool for a movie. That one also had some pretty sad things in it too. I think the one that everybody always talks about is the what was it? The fight that happens inside the colony and the shell casing hits the mother and then the baby is an orphan.
That was frightening.
Yeah, it was messed up. Toriyama, what were you thinking?
I know Zeta was dubbed, but I don't remember when it was actually dubbed.
It was dubbed, I don't know. I think it was dubbed. It was never aired in the States.
Never aired, but it got fully dubbed.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that was cool.
And we don't just watch like the dubs, though. Don't get us wrong. We actually will watch a sub, but we're just talking about how we actually got into it.
Yeah. I guess I could actually talk about that, and I want to know how you guys feel about it. Well, I mean, when you're younger, or when I was younger, and I was getting into anime as a hobby and whatnot, you couldn't really watch everything in subtitles all the time, especially not on network TV. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you bought the DVDs, you could, but there's that whole stigma in the community of anime and whatnot that you have to watch. These people are all like, you shouldn't watch the dub. It's terrible. It's not good. It's not the original. And
I'm sorry, but bullshit. Look at animes like Cowboy Bebop, which
yeah,
the dub is one of the most praised dubs of any anime.
And it actually fits it with it being a dub.
It fits it a lot better because it was based on Western movies like Quentin Tarantino films and Westerns, just like Trigun.
Yeah, and it makes more sense.
In fact, the canon language in the Trigun world is English. So it makes more sense.
Well, see, it's funny because, like,
plus, the Trigun movie was made for Western fans.
Yeah.
So thank you. So you're welcome, Sub Purist. We won on that with Trigun.
That's true.
I mean, I did. I don't know. For me, I mean, like, I like the English dub for like Trigun and for Cowboy Bebop, but I mean, I originally saw them in the Japanese dub, so I'm kind of partial to the Japanese dub.
Yeah.
But that also might have had to do with, because when I saw them, and I know this isn't the best thing to do, but I mean, it was totally, fan based, all fan subs.
Yeah.
And I think, though, because the subs were so good, is why I preferred the Japanese dub.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched with my wife the English dub of Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, and she much preferred the English.
Yeah,
just like most people, and it was done really well.
And it also for those worlds,
a difference in how good those subtitles are.
Yeah,
some companies just make it so plain and just maybe more of a direct translation instead of an interpretation.
Yeah, which could become a problem.
Like both, like those are all like a lot of what I watch is from Sunrise, and I've never seen Sunrise be dubbed badly.
No, none of the Gundam shows that have ever been dubbed have ever really been terrible.
Even, like Sunrise is Owen's Tiger and Bunny. I love that dub because that's so hilarious because they fit the parts perfectly just as well. In fact, that's in America too. That takes place in America too because they show the currency and it's the U.S. dollar.
Right. Well, it is a superhero show in anime format, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's kind of like if you were someone who went to, like, theaters or opera houses or something to that nature, and you go to one country and you listen to it, like, in one language, or even if you were to see it in the same language in two different, like, cities or places, each of the productions is going to be different. The actors are going to have different ranges of emotion and feelings. Yeah. So sometimes when a dub happens, especially if it's done well, you can like both the Japanese guy or the person who did the Japanese voice, but also love the guy who does the English version too, because they both did it exceptionally well, but they put their own spin on it. They can be different in their own way.
Not that I hate subs.
No, I don't
just
either.
the dubs of certain things better. Like, I prefer, like, the dub of Bebop, the dub of,
Yeah.
Trigun. I definitely prefer the dub of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
better.
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Particularly with longer shows, I think that a dub should be mandatory because it drives me insane when I'm looking at a new like shonen and I'm like, I'm interested in watching this, but I don't want to have to read like 500 episodes. I'd rather listen to it opposed to having to read it.
And then there's the dub of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I just adore. I think that's closest to like.
Oh, that's another show that actually it works better in English because of the setting and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, if the setting is wholly a Japanese like culture and whatnot, it makes sense for it to be, in Japanese because the dialect would make more sense.
Plus, yeah, certain things just feel better within the within dubbing and subbing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Well, what was I thinking? I mean, I think like the Fate Zero and the Fate Stay Night stuff, particularly, it was like all this. I mean, you can watch it subtitled, especially, but watching the first episode of Fate Zero subtitled, considering it's an hour long, it can be pretty tiring because a lot of stuff is happening, lots of exposition, and not much else. There's lots of history going on. And you're not getting into any of the really fun and cool stuff. So it's like, you want me to watch this subtitled? Really? Do I have to? I think it should all come down to preference because I've written on a little blog on another social network that has, anime. It's wholly based in anime and it's a giant community. But I basically said basically things that irked me, and I think that the sub versus dub debate is just generally idiotic.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't like it's like saying that if I prefer to watch something dubbed, I'm an idiot, or that I don't enjoy the original.
Nothing is culturally lost.
No, not normally. Sometimes maybe, but
some dubs are bad. That's why 4Kids is dead because they do stupid things. But come on, you're gonna tell me you prefer the sub of G Gundam because everybody takes it more seriously because it's a more serious. They speak more seriously or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, have you seen G Gundam all the way through? It's stupid and weird, and it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a Gundam from Mexico that has a poncho and a sombrero.
Yeah, you can't get more ridiculous than G Gundam.
Yeah.
I took G Gundam really seriously, though. It's weird, because I don't know.
There are parts of it that were serious.
And some of those characters, I don't know, I just
There
really
are parts that are serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, they got plus for both Master Asia and Domon. They kind of in. If you've seen the Day of Sigma from the Mega Man X game thing, that is Domon and Master Asia as X and Sigma fighting again. That is how dedicated these people are. And
that's
then
cool.
The actor who played Domon went on to retire, which is why he never did one of the Dynasty Warriors games.
Oh, well,
now
that's
he's a
terrible.
surgeon. Now he's like a surgeon or something.
Yeah, I remembered that. If I remember correctly, the guy who voiced Tai in Digimon is actually a magician now. I mean, I think he said that he was going. There is a new Digimon thing coming out, so.
Digimon Try.
Yeah. And I think he'll be coming back because they did mention, I think, that they were going to dub it at some point, so he's probably coming back for that.
Well, it's a 6-part theatrical release.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting 6 Digimon movies.
Wow.
Woohoo! What fun.
And again, okay, please don't make it like Hunters. If you do, I will die.
Hunters?
Digimon Hunters was...
Oh, yeah. The Exo Wars stuff. The more current stuff. Not my favorite thing
The
either.
sequel to Cross Wars.
Yeah.
The only thing awesome about it was the last few episodes where like everybody from like every season.
Yeah, I've seen that clip. It's pretty cool to see all the different characters.
They got whatever Dramon with Frogramon's arm in a jump between his legs, so it looked really disturbing when it went and killed.
Oh
so
my god!
Basically, he pelvic thrusted the bad guy to death.
Oh my god! That part I think I missed.
I specifically turned away at that scene now. I gotta do this. I'm getting embarrassed here.
I'm just gonna say though, but there are a lot of dubs that are terrible.
Yes.
But the 4Kids era is over. But personally, a lot of people say they hate that the 4Kids era is over with the Pokemon anime. I'm like, certainly the Pokemon anime has gone downhill, especially with Generation 5. But with the Generation 6 anime, it's gone a hell of a lot better.
I generally just ignore
Ash
that
the
series.
Badass in the Gen 6 anime.
And he'll go right back to being a scrub automatically when they start a new generation. I'm calling it now.
There are people already theorizing that he's going to become the champion of the Kalos region.
I doubt it. He's never been champion.
He hasn't lost once yet in the Kalos region.
He's going to. They're building him up so that he can fail again. I'm calling it now, people. I'm calling it. Ash is gonna lose.
No.
Bring it on. Bring it. I'm not scared of you.
First are going to be upset because he has to win the because if he doesn't win the Kalos League, he won't be with what's her face.
Okay. All right. Well, we've been kind of talking about anime, so why don't we talk about like some of our favorite things in anime, or if there's anything currently that we're watching, or other than Iron-Blooded Orphans, or if there's something that we want to talk about. At some point, maybe we'll do like top fives or something on the podcast, because that would be fun, I think. But for now, who wants to talk about just anything anime related that they've seen in the last few years, or even in their way back when?
I tried watching Hitalia, and
Yeah.
I thought that was really stupid.
Italia, what's that about?
Oh,
The comedy show based on like everybody's basically like an ethnic stereotype of whatever country they represent,
yeah.
and that's the entire show.
I think it has something to do with like World War II era like
Yeah,
characters. Like they're from different countries.
All the groups are based on World War II
Yeah.
stuff.
They're wearing World War II style uniforms.
If
And
you can think of like a stereotype of like any country, yeah, it's gonna be in there.
Huh.
I myself have never really been all that interested in it to begin with. It looked kind of funny, but I mean, if I want to watch a comedy, I normally will watch like a slice of life comedy opposed to that.
I like things like
I'd
that.
rather watch School Rumble or something to that nature, or Cromartie High School.
Yeah, we know what you like, though. No, I'm just kidding.
What? I liked School Rumble because it was a funny show.
Yeah.
It was just generally hilarious. The only part about that pissed me off was the ending. It was like, basically write your own ending. And I'm like, screw you. You're lazy. Get to work.
What I said
Finish
with the Soul Eater ending.
I've never finished Soul Eater. Uh-oh, my anime credit's going down. Oh no, I can feel the power levels draining. No,
did.
no,
It just kind of ends.
Your
Like,
street cred.
no, my street
Like-
cred.
they kind of finish like the bad guy, like he's a generic monster of the week.
Oh, well, that's disappointing.
And then they're like, bye! We beat the bad guy, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, and you're not going to learn how we get back.
Yeah.
And that was an anime-only ending, apparently.
Yeah.
So they could have done something a lot better. They should have added like a whole nother episode.
Right.
Explain this or something.
That would have probably been a better idea.
Instead of just like, oh, you want to know what happens next, just go get the manga thing. 'Cause whatever, we don't care anymore. You watched it.
You paid us your money. You gave us money. We don't care anymore. What were you gonna say, Megazord?
Oh no, I was changing gears.
What gear were you gonna change to?
Because we were talking about what we've watched lately.
Yeah.
Okay, a little controversial maybe, but Kill la Kill
Ah.
was freaking hilarious.
I myself have not spent time watching it at all.
I haven't yet.
No, oh my gosh, I was laughing out loud at so many points because it's almost like a parody
Yeah.
of all anime.
I think
They
that
make
was the
fun of-
point.
Yeah, like there's a hilarious episode where like, because there's always those recap episodes.
Yeah.
Kind of annoying, and you still have to watch them anyway because there's these little things in between that they're going to
Yeah.
tell you that are important to the story.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Gundam Seed Destiny.
Yeah,
Recap episode number 502.
yeah, because they get to this episode where it's like, well, right about now it's the recap episode, but we're going to do it in 15 seconds. And so then they just boom, just get through it all, and it's like, yes,
That's
thank
like
you. And now
Double
we get back to the
Zeta
story.
Gundam episode 1 all over again.
Here's a recap.
Seriously.
Okay, we're done.
Double Zeta Gundam was basically telling you like everything that's happened between in Zeta Gundam, like everything that was made in between in between Zeta into between 0079 and Zeta Gundam. It was explaining all the characters.
Oh my goodness.
Holy crap! We don't need this much exposition. My brain hurts.
Exposition overload. Exposition overload.
Yeah.
Mayday, mayday, we're going down.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
that style of that exposition.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the things that was so refreshing about not just like Kill la Kill, but like going back to Cowboy Bebop,
Yeah.
because it was like all original, like the whole thing. They weren't recapping anything.
No.
There were maybe little hints at stuff that happened before, but it just kept going. And I think if anime started doing that more,
Yeah.
instead of just trying to extend it out so we get 26 episodes, it's like just get a really good story that we can keep going through and maybe like flesh out the characters more,
Right.
instead of
Whatever
just
you do,
recapping.
don't end your anime right as you're starting a new story arc.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically the whole premise with lots of
What happens
shonens.
next? Read the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that is somewhat of a problem when they're all like, hey, let's recap because everybody's an idiot and hasn't been watching. It's like, well, with how, people can mainly stream an anime anyway, couldn't they just watch from the beginning anyway? So what's the point of a recap anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, when TV was the main source, it makes sense, but now recaps are just annoying. And filler is also annoying.
What was that?
Manga is
Manga
expensive?
is expensive to buy, and it's often hard to find the English translation, the English version.
I have almost an entire shelf full of manga that would like to disagree with you.
No, and it's. And
It depends on where you
there's the
live,
issue of
actually.
The fan translations,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm guilty of that myself.
Yeah.
A lot of times I actually like their translations better than what I'll find like at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
I'm currently watching an anime. As soon as it's getting subtitled,
Yeah.
it takes forever. Because I'm watching the Mega Man Battle Network anime. They're they have everything subbed except for Stream, which they got almost all the way through.
Yeah.
Now it's just taking forever.
I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Basically, this was going to be. They were planning to dub it all, and then I forget which company was dubbing it. I think it was Ocean
Yeah.
or something. They're like, Oh, yeah, this is getting a little too adult and a little too frightening.
Oh yeah,
Especially after they basically, like, brutally murdered Shade Man in Access. I'm like, holy crap.
well, actually, that should be something that we should talk about because it was fairly recent. There was a lot of censorship going on for a couple of the shows of like last season. For Tokyo Ghoul and what was it? Terraformers. My goodness, I've seen the videos of like their formats of like how they censored the shows, and it was like, oh my gosh, you cannot be this bad at censoring a show. I mean, I've seen like bad censoring, but this was probably by far the most funny and laughable versions I've ever seen in my life.
Like what? What was happening? Like
well, Tokyo Ghoul is, well, basically, you know, it involves, I guess, ghosts and all that stuff. I haven't watched it, and
It's
I
a
don't.
gore anime, basically.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a gore anime, and
Even on Toonami, a lot of that has to be cut out.
well, the way that the Japanese version was, they censored it in Japan, not just in the States. They censored it
Yeah,
in
I know.
Japan as well.
wow.
They
There are
changed
things
the
that
blood
Japan
color.
censors and bans. Japan does have a ratings board. It's just their
It's
standards
normally
are
very
higher than
lenient.
ours, which I kind of have issue with some of with our rating system because sometimes they let certain things go, and with other things they don't.
Yeah.
And it kind of irks me sometimes when they're like, hey, we can show, because we colored this blood like pink, it can be in like this G-rated show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, for Tokyo Ghoul, it was pretty funny. They censored a lot of the blood and the murder and the death, and they just like changed the color of it, or they would like blur the screen to prevent anybody from seeing anything. I think,
Want to know how censored something like Elfen Lied was in Japan?
it wasn't. Elfen Lied was never censored. Everything that is in Elfen Lied was in I believe is in the original cut. It is that gory, it is that bad, but now they've become more sensitive apparently, because it was funny. There's a guy I've watched on YouTube for a while. He doesn't do videos very often, but when he does, it's normally hilarious. His name is Gigik, and he did a video talking about like what happened during the season for the entire year of like 2015, and he was like, "Oh, the horror of not being able to see anything." He did it a lot more funnier than me, but maybe I'll link that video in the description because it is pretty funny.
Anime we don't like. It just, since we've already talked about a bunch of controversial shit. Let's go in. Let's start with Flame Wars.
Oh gosh.
We could do. Could we do that? Could we do that in a second? I still want to talk about the other thing, the Terraformers censorship, real quick.
Yeah.
Was even more hilarious because what they did to prevent anybody from seeing anything, it was like opening up like a simple MS Paint program and like blocking it out with a black circle.
Oh my god.
That is literally how they censored it. They just like would paint a black image where they didn't want people to see what was happening.
Wait, they're actually going DBZ Kai on us?
I guess. The censoring of it was just so laughably silly. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just too funny to look at. It's like, oh, hey, look, there's this horrifying scene. Oh, look, like, obviously it would be like, I don't know, people's exploded heads all over the place. It's like, nope, just black all of those out with little black circles. You see nothing. And I'm like, you could have just cut the whole scene out and then just implied something instead. But no, let's just put little black circles over all the horrifying things we don't like. MS Paint all over it. Nope, we don't like it. It's out. Bye. I'm like, really? I just wanted to talk about it because, or at least mention it because it's so silly.
It is. Sometimes things get just stupid with their censorship. Like,
yeah, censorship can be weird and funny.
Hey,
okay,
I'm gonna be right back.
You're gonna be right back?
Yeah.
No, you're being unprofessional. I'm just kidding.
Right back.
Okay. Take your time. We will be right here.
I need to get some lunch on.
Everyone is leaving the podcast. Everybody is out of town. I am all alone right here.
I'm here. I'm going up to the kitchen.
I'm kidding. I will probably cut part of this out. It's not a big deal.
Popular anime, so I don't know.
Welcome back, Megazord. We've missed you.
Oh, I missed you too. That's why I came back.
Give me a hug. Hug me through the internet. Wasn't it funny when I actually find that funny when YouTubers like, come on, give me a high five, give me, a bro fist or a hug. I'm like, I can't. I could try, but I always like that. I like Jacksepticeye does it all the time. He's like, here, feed me your energy. Come on, you can do it. Do it with me. I mean, it's like, I can't. You're all the way in Ireland. It doesn't work that way.
Raise your hands in the air and give me your energy.
It's like, what is this, Dragon Ball Z all over the place? Jesus. Okay, so
What were you guys talking about?
I guess we're going to be talking about, we're going to start Flame Wars, I guess.
Oh, God.
We're going to talk about
Are you
animes
ready?
we don't care for.
Don't care for.
Are you prepared, Megazord? Are you ready?
I think so.
Do you have anything to go with?
I did before I left, and now I'm gonna have to think about it. So go ahead, somebody else.
Okay. I think I'll start off because I normally throw it to you guys first, but I guess I'll go first. Screw Gundam Seed Destiny. And Gundam Seed, sort of, to an extent. And screw Sword Art Online. Just no, both of them are terrible. Shame on all of you.
Sword Art Online. I
Yeah.
was about to say that to you.
Yeah.
Dub, sub,
Doesn't matter.
That was
Novel.
recommended to me to watch
everything.
If
by a
you,
fan of anime.
yeah, if
So
you,
why should I not see Sword Art Online?
Because it's so bad. Kirito is such a little Mary Sue. Like, he's so perfect in everything.
yeah,
If he suggests something in either the dub, the sub, or the graphic novel, it's automatically right.
yeah,
In the first one, he cannot lose because if he loses, he dies IRL.
yeah,
In the second and the third arc, both of which suck, and both of which their villains suck,
right.
and are worse than Karada.
I have no
There, I
idea who
finally
that
said
is.
it. And because he never loses, he never is wrong,
No, he isn't.
and he also just had basically. There's this group of girls from all the games that eventually just start following him around. It's called the Scorned Society. It's basically his harem because he chose not to have something. And also, one of the programs, like the two main characters get married within the game and call their daughter.
Yeah, the program.
The program
Is their child.
supposed to make people mentally healthy, decides to go to the only two sane and happy people instead of doing its proper job, even though somehow it wasn't supposed to be in the game to begin with, but somehow is.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
whatever. And then they only know her for like 2 hours and they cry their eyes out.
Yeah.
And somehow, the 100th level boss is within their guild like the entire time, and is somehow easier than the 75th boss, which took the entire guild to defeat. Which in this case, it only took one. And he has the audacity to go into his emo corner because people have died. I'm like, you get told this. You have to deal. I know it's sad. You have to deal with this like you're. Why wouldn't you just deal with it? Because people just die. It's something that happens in these battles. You
Yeah.
should have learned this over your 2 years. And going solo in an MMO is the stupidest thing you can do.
Yep, I've done it myself, and I can attest to it. It's not normally the best idea.
And how the game actually plays, it's a lot harder. And
yep.
Boy, the Gun Gale online arc sucks, especially because somehow he's just OP, even though he does.
He has no experience with shooters.
A beam saber instead of like.
He chose to be a lightsaber wielding Jedi.
Yeah. Which somehow that's the best weapon in the game, and yet nobody else chooses.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the original premise of Sword Art Online because, it's not new, but it's been done before. They did it with Dot Hack, and they're doing it with other ones too. And it's a fun idea of, a game, keeping people from exiting to the real world and whatnot.
When I saw Sword Art Online, it reminded me of Dot Hack, which I didn't care for.
Yeah, Dot Hack is... Both of these shows are they're the same premise, but with polar opposites. Sword Art Online has more action and less talking and less character development, and Dot Hack has more character development and less fighting. That's basically how I sum up both of them of how they work. There was more talking in Dot Hack about like how this works and, trying to help save everybody. And with SAO, it was just basically a bunch of nonsense and battles. The animation is decent. It's not terrible. But if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. It's just how it works.
I also have to say this. Every vampire anime except for Hellsing.
Oh boy.
Hellsing is the only anime to get vampires correct and not Twilight.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, I'm not opposed to anybody to at least check it out.
Stephanie Meyer is making gender swap to Twilight.
Oh, please. I wouldn't be opposed to people watching SAO entirely.
I'm not.
I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're curious and you're just like, okay, I got time to kill, I would recommend like maybe
he makes Shadow the Hedgehog look like a failure. And Shadow the Hedgehog is the perfect life form.
I think for me I think I would recommend it's like watch the first episode, but then after that things go from bad to worse. I liked the first story arc, and even if I would have been happy if the first story arc, the main arc, just ended and didn't go to the next world that they went to in season 1, which is Elfheim Online. If it was just in SAO, I would be like, okay, it was meh, not my favorite, but I'd be okay with it. But then they went to Elfheim and it got worse.
That's where
it's like you can't get
issues come from.
Yeah, a lot of the issues for some people come from the Elfheim arc.
That's where I realized that he was just OP for the sake of being OP.
Yeah. But I guess, well, I mean...
Oh, because he's a beta tester. Like, he wasn't a beta tester for Elfheim Online. It came out before, well, it was still in...
Well, he was still in SAO, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like... SAO looks like such a bland and boring game. Like, none of the dungeons seem like they would be fun to go through.
Yeah. I guess I should talk a little bit more about Gundam Seed, because I did say... it's like, screw it.
Choice words for Gundam Seed.
The choice words are the biggest middle finger possible?
Oh, yeah.
Possibly.
It was written by somebody who was dying of brain cancer. And that's actually yeah. Partially true.
I did mention that to Megazord, actually, when I was helping him move. You remember when I told you about that?
Yeah. And that makes it more understandable,
Well, I'll forgive it, but at that point they should have replaced the writing staff. At that point, they should have got somebody else, because it ruined the pace of Destiny and forced more recycled animation and stuff. It's like we're getting to the point where I was concerned. I didn't hate the original Gundam Seed very much, but I eventually got bored with it when I originally saw it. But then when I revisited again and again, and then watched Destiny, I was like, oh my goodness, this is bad. I mean, initially I was like, it can't be this bad. It can't be that bad. We could talk about characters. I never liked Kira as a character to begin with, even without knowing all of his little tricks and being what the internet has dubbed him as, Jesus Yamato, being God practically. Before I even knew that, I didn't even really like him very much to begin with. He was worse than any other Gundam protagonist I'd ever watched a show with.
Stop fighting!
Yeah. It's like, you want to do a pacifist, fine. Do it with a little bit less whining and complaining, please. I'm begging you. But, I mean, I do like some of the characters in Seed. I like Atherin.
Pacifist, why are you a soldier?
Yeah, if you're a pacifist, why are you a soldier? You don't have to get in the cockpit, you know. You can leave at any time. He's like,
Wasn't
no.
he given the option to leave in, like, the second episode? He's like...
Yeah, he was given the option to not fight, but the military basically blackmailed him into it, saying it's like, well, you're the only one who can pilot this Gundam, and your friends are on board the ship, so basically you have to fight, or, well, basically your friends will die.
How is he the only one that can pilot it? He just sat in it. And
he programmed it. It wasn't being being programmed and being ready for optimal fighting condition, and he did all of that within, like, a couple minutes. So basically, he changed the format of how the suit was already functioning. So I guess he basically made it harder for the...
He turned a multi-billion-dollar military weapon into his own personal toy.
I guess that would be the most accurate way of saying it. Yeah, I liked Atherin, but I got upset that he went through the same story arc twice. That was disappointing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. He went through a love story twice in two different stories, but with different girls.
The
it's
first
like,
Shark
what the heck?
one was awesome because he was the only one that called Blackus out on her shit.
That's true.
It's like, oh yeah, by the way, the world's not as beautiful, not as kind as those in your pop songs.
Yeah, and he's like,
oh, that was like one of the best lines in the whole
Yeah. Raul Crusade was pretty cool, actually. I liked his douchebag nature. That was pretty awesome, actually. I thought was hilarious. The things that a lot of the people talk about for the scenes and whatnot was like the one where, what was that girl's name? Oh, boy. The one girl that he kidnapped and kept hostage for a while. I cannot remember her name because... nobody likes her. But yeah, he kidnapped her and she pulled a gun on him and he's all like, you do know that the moment that you attempt to shoot me, I'm just all the officers inside are going to come in and kill you, right? He's like, oh, also, is the gun loaded? And it's like, being a smart aleck about it. Funny.
It's like, you can do characters that don't kill for both comedy and seriousness.
Yeah.
Look at people like... I mean... This came out when exactly?
What? Gundam Seed and Destiny?
Yeah, when did Seed first come out?
I think it came out in 2004 to 2005. I'm not sure.
Okay. Look at Vash the Stampede.
Yes! I love Vash.
People like... Look at people like Edward Elric, who had been in his anime last year, because FMA had been last year. Look at Turn A Gundam. Laurent didn't... Well, Laurent only killed one person.
Yeah, and he's still a pacifist, and he found ways around it.
He didn't mean to kill that person.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that Kira didn't mean to kill Nicole either, but he did anyway. You have blood on your hands.
He should have died in Destiny, though, when
He should have died multiple times. That's the reason why he's Jesus Yamato.
Died when when his reactor got stabbed through.
Yeah.
After that, he activated his M-Jammer canceller in it.
Yeah.
You put a hole in a nuclear reactor. No amount of shielding you put on that will work because there's a giant hole in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Megazord. Any shows that you didn't like?
Oh boy.
We're starting Flame Wars, so don't pull punches.
One thing that I was disappointed in, and this is kind of older now, but
yeah.
what was that? Oh my gosh, I just had the name. I just saw. Oh, Claymore.
Right. I've never seen that one myself.
You never saw one?
No.
Okay.
Some people have said it was
Like-
interesting, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
like the.
That got kind of really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because the manga is like still going as far as I know, still going.
Yeah.
In the anime adaptation, like it was great, and then you could tell they got to the point where it was like, well, it's only 26 episodes, so we need to cut it short, and we need to do something big and make it weird. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what they did. They tried to make it huge, and the last few episodes were just total crap.
Felt like they tried to turn something like so awesome and tried to do like a Final Fantasy twist.
Exactly, yeah. And so,
Wow.
and so they didn't stay true to the manga, and I don't know why that happened.
This has happened before with a couple of them. The original Full Metal Alchemist does not stick to all of its source material.
It wasn't meant to, though.
No, it wasn't.
They planned on that, and even
Because the book wasn't finished, so they already
Yeah, it
knew that
wasn't
they were going to
finished.
be doing something
then
different.
FMA, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, is
Yeah. It's
pretty
a
much-
direct,
which
copy to the manga.
prefer Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood just because Ling is in it,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more scenes with Armstrong in it.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, they did the same thing with the original Hellsing.
Yeah.
It changed its ending entirely too. It went from it didn't because the book wasn't finished, so they decided to go with a complete 180 and did their own. But it did not sit well with everybody, I guess.
Alucard is like, people talk about Goku fighting Superman and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. Like, why not just bring Alucard into it? I'm like, oh wait, Alucard would just kill them all by himself.
Probably.
The night with like the best lines ever.
I have never seen. I'm not very big into like horror and monsters all the time, so I've never watched the Hellsing anime. But the parts I have seen with like Steve Bloom as Alucard and whatnot, that's pretty fun to watch. Just
think it
those
was-
parts.
Was it? It wasn't Steve Bloom.
Was it somebody else?
Ultimate.
Well, that's the
It
thing.
was
There
Kristen
is
Freeman.
Oh yeah, sorry, it is Crispin Freeman. My bad. I'm sorry. I get the two confused.
because there's the Hellsing series, and then there's the OVA.
Yeah.
The OVA is Ultimate.
Yeah.
And the Ultimate, and like, of course, I don't watch that kind of stuff, but
I watched it and I thought it was awesome.
it
Yeah.
was really incredible. And
Yeah.
it's definitely not.
I'm
like
not
something
one for
I'd recommend
gore and
anybody, but-
blood and vampires, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this: I saw that twist coming from miles away because I am kind of a vampire fan and I've seen most of the Dracula movies.
Right.
So I knew,
Yeah.
and plus, Alucard is just Dracula backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
They did the same thing with like Castlevania
See,
games
The
too.
Batman versus Dracula movie. They
I
already
remember that.
explained that. Of course, it doesn't take Batman to figure out that Alucard the Alucard is an anagram or whatever.
It's Dracula spelled backwards. If you were to put it in a mirror, it would spell Dracula. It's kind of a giveaway.
What's more badass than Batman fighting Dracula?
Batman apparently fighting Superman, because that's what we're getting.
Or Batman fighting Ultraman.
Ultraman. That would be interesting.
I don't know if anyone would get that one.
How about Batman versus Darth Vader?
Oh, did you guys hear about the new Godzilla versus Kong?
I haven't. I saw something on one of the channels that I frequent, but I haven't watched the video or what news that pertains to. But it's supposed to be coming out, 2020?
Yes.
That would be interesting to see, because I liked the last Godzilla movie was fun. I wish there was more Godzilla, but
Godzilla versus the Ultraman would also be awesome too.
I think Godzilla versing pretty much any monster from either his gallery or from something else would probably be pretty awesome in its own right.
Then again, Ultraman fights giant monsters that are like Godzilla on a daily basis. So.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not the biggest Ultraman fan anyways.
Yeah, me either. He's kind of silly.
Yeah, I guess we could... Is there any more anime stuff that we wanted to talk about before maybe we'll move on to, like, comic book and, like, movie stuff, I guess? We could do that.
What else?
Oh,
I didn't care
you thought of
for
something too?
Attack on
Okay.
Titan.
Go ahead.
I didn't care for Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
It was just...
Which one?
didn't
The anime
feel-
or the manga?
Well, I haven't read the manga yet, so I don't know if the manga explains more about what exactly is going on. I understand that humanity's died a lot, but I don't understand where these things come from.
Yeah.
And other than why, just for pleasure, why do they do things?
Yeah.
And they don't seem to be animals then if they're derived for pleasure, because they have to
Yeah.
have some form of sentience.
Right.
Well, the anime isn't over, right?
No. They're working on season 2.
Okay, because definitely there's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah, the
And
key. And
Key.
yeah.
Why didn't you just go in there after you were done? That's
I know that...
the first thing I would do is go there. Just because...
Yeah, the Attack on Titan stuff that's going to be coming out, or that's already been like partially animated, and they're going to be releasing it before season 2, is Attack on Titan Junior High.
What?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's basically like a comedy
It's gonna be
version.
like Soul Eater or not, which
I
sucks.
really don't know. It's supposed to basically be Attack on Titan with them in high school, and
I don't care about that.
no, I don't care about that either. Personally, I'm like,
cares? They're teenagers already. Who needs to see them in high school?
I
This
know,
is
it's
like
get to the story.
what are they gonna do? I don't even know if schooling actually exists in the Attack on Titan universe, because
military school.
I don't want to see them in military school. We had like 3 episodes of that.
No, I was saying that their only format of school, I think at this point, is military school.
Yeah. Attack on Titan High, I'm like, are you going to make them all chibi characters?
Yeah, they all look like they're like caricatures of themselves and whatnot.
They're gonna put Titans in there just to be schoolyard bullies. And,
Yeah.
this is stupid.
Well, if I...
I'm like, okay, the Imagine anime that spun off from Deno, that was stupid. But the Imagines are inherently supposed to be comedical, but it actually had sort of the heart from the original show.
Yeah.
But it was still stupid because it was just the Imagine hanging out without Ryutaro, who refuses to reprise his role as Kamen Rider Deno in any... His actor
Right.
refuses to reprise his role, so they always have to get Momotaros.
Yeah, I was going to say... I remembered that the guy who initially created Attack on Titan, a lot of his inspiration for the Titans themselves and like the way that they're horrible and ugly and whatnot is from his like history of being bullied, I guess, when he was in school and whatnot. So it makes somewhat sense to make
but it just
comedy adaptation, I guess. No, it doesn't. We're more interested in seeing season 2.
And I'm gonna insult the movie because I've seen it. It was stupid.
Where did you see it?
And well, it wasn't a theater near me.
Oh,
Except
that's right.
for American Theater.
Oh, darn it.
There were no horses.
There were 2 shows here?
swords.
We missed them?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, I
It
forgot
was
to tell you.
tanks and guns, and
There were tanks and guns? What the heck?
yeah.
Well, I mean, the cannons and whatnot would make sense because they had
There was-
cannons and rifles.
There was no Annie.
Oh,
There was no Levi, which
that's going to make a lot of fangirls sad.
Yeah.
the Titans just looked like crap. I mean,
Darn
the
it.
CGI sucks.
Oh.
Well, we have to remember this is a Japanese group. They don't have the budgets of a Hollywood
big old tokusatsu film, which I like, and I've seen episodes of tokusatsu. I've seen basic episodes of Kamen Rider, and
Yeah.
this is, to me, is worse than Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh boy.
No.
I don't know if you could get worse than Dragon Ball Evolution.
What?
They put Eren and Mikasa in a relationship.
They already have a relationship. It's obvious during the show that Mikasa has a thing for him, to an extent.
Obvious, but they're
Eren doesn't.
brother and sister.
They're not biological siblings.
I know that, but it's still creepy.
Well, I will admit to that. It is still
And
pretty creepy.
There's no there's the scene where, because everybody's seen the least episode, where Aaron's mom gets eaten. That's not in there. I'm like, what's his motivation then? That was his entire motivation for kill all Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I noticed because in the anime, his relationship with Mikasa and whatnot was he cared about her, but he wasn't the one very interested in, any format of flirting and whatnot. He was more interested and focused on his objective of killing all Titans.
Yeah.
And protecting his friends. And she even, she doesn't always go all goo eyes over him anyway, regardless. She just cares about him, so. Putting them in a relationship, actually, I would not really care if they did or not. It makes sense.
Breaking off from anime to another thing, do you think we could take a short intermission and get drinks and flip laundry and stuff?
Okay, if you must flip your laundry, flip your laundry. If you must.
Well, I don't know if you guys are out of your drinks yet.
I'm fine.
I'm plenty psyched up here.
I don't think he needs more. He's good.
I'm gonna pound another monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of funny because we were talking about monsters.
Monsters. Attack on Titan.
How about Monster Hunter?
Ooh.
Remember that?
It's still a thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, they have a 3DS game out. Monster
wait.
Hunter 4.
I meant the other Monster Hunter.
What's the other Monster
The
Hunter?
one that was kind of Pokemon-esque.
Well, aside from Pokemon and Digimon, I can't really think of anything. Personally.
No, it was. I remember it being on public TV for a while.
Maybe. Oh, Monster Rancher.
Oh, Monster Rancher. My bad.
That was what you were thinking. Yeah, I liked that. That was fun. I used to play the video games. You would not believe what you could get when you put a CD into the game.
Yeah.
Like a CD or a DVD or something, and you put it in like your PlayStation and you'd scan it, and then you'd get a monster. And then it's like, what am I getting this time? What amazing, astounding creature am I going to get through this coding? I love that mechanic. I thought that was hilarious and pretty clever, actually, too.
Yeah, I get that.
Because
Suspense aspect.
Yeah, it's like, what am I gonna get? What am I gonna get? Well, I guess it's kind of similar to like having like a Pokemon Nuzlocke. I guess it's like, okay, I can only get one Pokemon, and I can only get the first encounter. So I'm gonna go in the grass and surprise. It's like, what am I gonna get?
Yeah.
It's like that suspense is like, am I gonna get something good? Am I gonna get something terrible that's not gonna help me at all? Stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that watching people do that is actually rather hilarious. To watch someone do a Nuzlocke, it's like, okay, if my Pokemon faints in battle, he's dead. I can't use him again. I have to put him in the box or release him. I was like, that is so horrible. It's like, what if you were relying on one person so heavily?
Yeah.
Because they were your best partner in the game, and then all of a sudden that partner is gone, and you can't use them again. I've seen that happen so many times watching people play those types of games. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for you, and they're like screaming. It's like, no, this is horrible. Why? No. I think it's even more hilarious when they are using like a ROM hack of it, and they have the randomizer on, so everything is random. Items are random, encounters are random, battles are random. So gym leaders are not going to be running with the same stuff they always run with. So you don't know what they are going to use. They could use a legendary creature on you. They could use like Mewtwo. You could end up fighting a Mewtwo like in the first gym and might get your butt kicked by it.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe not, and also you could also, when you're trying to catch something, you could end up running into a legendary, which from all my experience is a pain to get when you do not have a Master Ball. From all my experience of playing those games, trying to catch one on its own is terrible, because the catch rate is ridiculous. Because it's all about that odd number. It's like, your odds of catching it with this particular ball and in this condition is 0.0000. You're not getting it.
Hey, are we on break?
I guess. Did you want to go leave for a moment, stretch or something?
No, I was just wondering.
Well, he's flipping his laundry, so I'm just randomly talking. I'll cut this part out.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I might keep it in. I have no idea.
Have you seen the Honest Game trailers with the Pokemon game? That's hilarious.
Those are hilarious. I like honest trailers, and I like honest game trailers too. So
yeah.
I always find those funny. I also like Cinema Sins and whatnot too.
I haven't watched much Cinema Sins. I've seen a couple. I saw the Big Hero 6 one. I liked what he said.
Yeah, I think like one of the first ones that he did, or the one that I think sealed the reason why I enjoyed watching his channel so much, was the one he did for Cinema Sinning himself.
Oh, yeah?
He did one. Yeah, there's one where he actually sinned his own channel. And it's actually really funny and hilarious, and pointing out that basically it's like, it's all a joke, people. It's nothing serious. We're just having a good time. Calm down.
Right.
Some
people do take it too seriously.
Yeah, because he was just like having fun.
Yeah.
One of the things he did, because it was in his Amazing Spider-Man, the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, Cinema Sin he did, where he was talking about Gwen's character, and he's saying like, scene does not contain a lap dance. And
Cinema Sins?
Yeah, and the funny part was, it's like he basically said, why is this a sin? Because F you, that's why. It's like, because I choose for it to be a sin.
Nice.
Yeah, look it up on his channel. It is pretty funny. Are you back,
Yes.
Magnus? Okay. So, I didn't get an intermission. I'm basically still talking. I don't intermission.
Very off-topic
If you
stuff.
need to go take an intermission, you can go.
No, I'm fine. I can go for hours. I have energy.
Alrighty. I know we can talk for hours.
We probably could. We could probably talk for like 5 hours. That would be probably the longest podcast ever in history. Wouldn't be as long as like Markiplier's live stream of like 7 whole hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and him actually recording it and putting it up on YouTube. Oh my gosh. No. Please no.
That was a bit much.
I'd understand doing a stream, but I wouldn't understand like posting it to YouTube.
Well, yeah.
That would
In one
like
giant part.
in one giant part that would take like hours upon hours of just
So are we talking about movies first, or are we going to games or comics?
I'll leave that as an open topic. Which ones you guys want to talk about first?
There's
Yeah.
rotisserie chicken. Chicken.
Chicken.
I want some chicken. Let's talk about chicken. You know what? You know about chicken?
What do we know about chicken? What do we really know? What are the deep dark secrets of
Right.
what are the deep dark secrets of KFC?
Oh, I don't want to know that.
No, I don't.
I want to eat my KFC in ignorance.
Yeah, trust me, actually, don't do that. Also, if that's the case, don't watch any of the food-related stuff that CinemaSins has as a partner channel with Branson's. Then don't watch anything that involves like Taco Bell, Subway, Pizza Hut, or any of those things, because you'll probably never eat there again.
The sad truth.
Yeah. It's fast food. We know it's terrible and bad for us anyway.
Oh, just a heads up. So I've got like 19 minutes before I gotta check out here.
Oh, crap.
Just FYI.
Okay. Well, thank you for the heads up. Okay, well then...
So do we want to go on with the podcast after he's done, or do we just want to...
I don't really want to do it without him. I'd feel like I'm only talking to you, and I do that enough. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Well, I mean, we talked enough about animation. We could talk about movies another time. Why don't we just talk about comics for a little bit? I guess. For a brief moment of like 19 minutes, and then we'll end it there. Comic books. What
So
can we
talking,
say?
like American comic book or what?
Yeah, let's stick with American comics. We talked enough about anime and manga. Well, we didn't really talk that much about manga, but I don't read very much of it to begin with, so yeah. But what comic book stuff can we talk about? And I'm just killing time here.
I have hardly read any comics, but I'm actually curious. I have a question.
Go for it.
Maybe this has already been talked about, and it's
Probably.
understood,
Probably.
but for me, it's not, and that has to do with Secret Invasion.
Secret
Because-
Invasion?
Okay, so we had Civil War, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Secret Invasion is the follow-up, yes?
It was the follow-up event to Marvel's Civil War, yeah?
Okay. Now, at the cost of sounding very naive,
Yeah.
is Secret Invasion, is after that Infinity War?
No.
So what's Infinity War? How does that fit into the... Is that a totally separate story arc or what?
Are we talking about the old Infinity War? Or was there a current one?
I'm trying to think of the Infinity War that's going to be in the movie.
Oh, the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, the Infinity War. That was an old book. That was like published in like the 90s or late 80s. Mm-hmm. That's a very old book.
The one that the movie is going to be based on?
I think so, because they're talking about Thanos and, you know,
Which is
the Infinity Gauntlet.
doing the Civil War story or before that. So
Yeah, and
Captain America.
Yeah, well, they're even going to be skipping the Secret Invasion at this point. Though we might see the Skrulls later, actually. Because it sounds like Fox made partnership with Marvel, and they made nice with the
they're
Fantastic Four.
They're bringing the Inhumans into the Marvel Cinematic Universe through
No!
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. But we're
Agents of
talking.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Could we talk about comics opposed to the movies and TV?
Sorry.
Because there are things
Partially
that.
my fault.
No, it's okay. I mean, I understand. But for the most part, actually, I don't know how much I like comic books in North America, especially superhero-related ones anymore.
I don't really read superhero comic books.
Yeah.
I like the IDW Transformers comic books
Right. Well, that's a good one.
because they're awesome.
No, that was kind of unobvious and a dead giveaway. No. But,
Go ahead.
I mean, I've already put a couple videos up on my channel where I talked about things that I didn't like. I talked about the new Spider-Man comic. I talked about Mary Jane being in the new Iron Man series.
Oh, what was that you were telling me
What?
about something? Is it the new Spider-Man or the new Iron Man? Something that really bugged you.
Well, both of those things bug me. The Spider-Man thing... Okay, basically to anybody out there who is a fan of Spider-Man and you respect this character, please, for the love of all that is good and decent, do not go and buy the new book. I don't want anybody to buy it. I really don't. It's insulting to me. I think mainly because actually, if anybody wants to share this with like the Comic Book Cast, which is, another channel on YouTube, please feel free to do this because I don't like those guys anymore. I actually unsubscribed from their channel and I left a very unpleasant comment, which I don't normally do very often to any content creator because they insulted me. As a Spider-Man fan, as someone who's been around for probably almost as long as they have.
Wait, they insulted you as in your channel?
No, not me. Not my channel. They insulted my love of the character. They basically were saying, like, to any but other fan who doesn't like the direction that Spider-Man is going, to screw off. And that you don't matter or you don't count. The fact of, like, oh, hey, Spider-Man and MJ aren't together anymore. Deal with it. It's not going to change. You're an idiot for thinking otherwise. It's like, I'm not an idiot. You're the idiot. Because you don't understand bad writing and bad decisions. You're sucking on that Marvel Kool-Aid 100% and not even caring that it's probably got cyanide in it. And I personally am not that stupid. I understand writing better than this. I may not be the most intellectual person, but even I know when something's a bad idea. Mm-hmm. Superior Spider-Man was a bad idea that was executed idiotically, and this new one isn't any better. But
New 52 was mostly executed, like, idiotically as well.
Especially early, but that's...
Except for Batman. Batman had, like, the best arc in the New 52.
Right.
So, are you saying bad in the sense of the story writing, how it's written, or...
Personally, I don't like Dan Slott writing it anymore. When he was starting out after J. Michael Straczynski left Spider-Man on bad terms and left Marvel basically in general, and now he's been at DC for a while. He was fine. He was doing okay. The stories were, with the fact of changing Peter's entire continuity and changing him from, a married man to a single swinging bachelor again like an idiot. It basically it backtracked him initially back to like him being a teenager again.
Because what I understand from both the New 52 and the all new, all different unit, all new, all different Marvel is basically it's a reboot to their entire continuity,
right?
Except certain story arcs are still considered canon,
right? That's what they're trying to do.
It seems that both Spider-Man and Batman, both have been active for a few years.
Well, their activity isn't really in question. For Marvel's new continuity, it doesn't really change anything. that's been going on. Technically, the Secret Wars events is supposed to destroy the multiverse of Marvel, which actually, surprisingly, it doesn't. At least not entirely. It only destroys parts of it. Probably the stupid stuff that they don't care about. They're picking and choosing what they want to keep. Because Spider-Man 2099's universe is still a thing. Spider-Gwen's universe is still a thing.
Like Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, that's a good book. It's a good book. I'm trying to think here. Marvel has spent like almost 10 years now character assassinating Spider-Man for some unknown reason that I can't fully comprehend. It started with Joe Quesada, and it's still going on. They don't know who the character is anymore. And even when you see like those glimmers or those shines of like what he used to be, it's quickly wiped away off the slate, and they move on to whatever they want him to be. And for all intents and purposes, it just makes me angry. I mean, I think the characters should grow up. And Marvel is trying to like move their characters forward. But this, I don't feel, is the way in which I would have seen Spider-Man going. If you were to ask me, like, when I was a teenager, when I was like 12 to 13 years old, when I started actually reading Spider-Man comics, and you were going to tell me that this is where he was going, I probably would have punched you in the face and say, you're lying, because that's not him, and that's not ever going to be him. Him being a billionaire, or, you know, a poor man's Tony Stark is what some people are calling it. No, I don't want him to be Tony Stark. He's not Tony. He's not Tony. He's not Batman. He is Spider-Man. Go back, read the original books, and learn. Marvel editorial, learn.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Turn your brain on and learn.
Supposed to be. What? Yes. I'm busy. Talking to friends.
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just, we'll cut here for now. We'll regroup next week. Maybe I'll have a better concise schedule.
Or next week, we'll go over episode 2, or
we'll go over
episode 2 and 3.
We'll do 2 and 3 of Iron-Blooded Orphans. Yeah, you guys out there in the out there in YouTube land, yes, we will review more of Iron-Blooded Orphans. We'll do it like 2 episodes at a time, because that leaves 24 episodes, 2 episodes every 2 weeks. Mathematically, I think that might be a good way to do it, so we don't do it every single week, so we don't get bored.
Yeah, okay.
There's strange things going on.
I know.
In the background.
I'm really curious.
I think that's
I feel like I'm eavesdropping.
I think it's his brother. I'm not sure.
What?
Is it your brother?
Yes.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, I guess weirdness is happening all over the channel. Okay, well, considering that we have to cut this here, guys, thank you guys all for watching. Please, you know, leave us a like and a comment. Yes.
Subscribe.
Yes, of course, subscribe.
Flame more at us, because
yeah, bring it.
it gives us something to do.
Yeah, it'll give us other things to do other than, you know, obviously editing videos and whatnot. Or at least me editing videos, because that's what I'm going to be doing probably for several hours. I'm realizing that podcasts are not as easy as I thought.
That's what I hear a lot of people say, yeah.
Well,
all the editing and stuff and just getting it together.
Yeah, well, for me personally, if I could at least I at least need a good formula like imprint where I could put the pictures in and whatnot, and I could just rotate through those easily. Be a lot easier than my first one. Because that was a pain, cutting through each and every bit and portion. It was like, oh, my head, my neck, my hand, my wrist. Ah.
Why don't we just put just get a logo or something? Because I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I was trying to do something similar to that. Anyway, guys, thank you guys all for watching the podcast, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week.
Yep.
Yeah. Same bat channel, same bat time.
In America.
Okay.
America.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge finally got a new episode after so long.
All right. Well, we'll see you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
No buys?
No, I thought you. That was the
Bye.
final
Okay.
bye.
Okay, I guess that was a final bye. Bye!